Hey guys, welcome back. Mark here. I've been asked by many people to please make a video of how to make the Reuteri Yoghurt from scratch. In other words, directly from pill form into the yogurt. So I've decided to, after a while, make this video for you. So first of all, you're obviously going to need the bacteria in a pill form. This is the one you need to get. It's the Reuteri Acute, the BioGaia version. I'll be making 1.5 liters of yogurt, and for that we're going to need 10 of these pills. So to start off with, you simply take your pills, add them to a little Ziploc bag. Here we've got our 10 Reuteri pills in the bag. Always use a brand new bag. Don't use a bag that you've used before for something else. Always a brand new bag. We want to keep everything in here nice and sterile. Also, there has been questions about the flavor of the pills, and you will notice that on this BioGaia, this particular version comes in different flavors. This particular one is the lemon lime flavor. Don't worry about this, you won't taste it. Once the pills are in the mix, you won't taste the flavor whatsoever. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're just simply going to crush these pills. Do not use a mortise and pestle that you would use for grinding herbs and so forth. That grinder will be contaminated with other things, so please don't do that. You will spoil your yogurt. So rather the plastic bag, and then I just use a little meat tenderizer mallet, and I start grinding start crushing the pills. All right, once I get there, I just simply crush it into smaller powder particles. It does dissolve quite easily in the milk. So once this is done, we will be adding it to the bowl. So once you get a nice consistency there, nice powder form, not too many big little pieces, we're now ready to add this to our mix. Good. All right. The first thing that we want to do is we want to absolutely sterilize all the equipment that we're gonna use. So that includes this pot, that includes my spatula, and of course my bottles that I'm going to put my mixer in. So I boiled some water here. This is the quickest way I have found to do this. So I would just pour the entire kettle boiled water into my mixing bowl. I then make sure that I'm sterilizing all my equipment, so I'll give it a bit of a stir till I'm happy that that's all the sides have been reached with the boiling hot water. Next thing that I do is I take my water and I then pour it into my bottles. I like to fill it about halfway. You'll see that this process is extremely easy. It takes me approximately 10 minutes to make my yogurt. So I'll screw on the lid, nice and tight. Give it a good shake over the base. And just remember, this water is boiling hot, so make sure you tighten the lid properly. You don't want it to come loose while you're shaking it. What I like to do is I like to heat my milk and my cream for at least 2 hours before the time. I just get it to the same 38 degrees that we will actually be making the yogurt in, and I do it in my instant pot. So right now you'll feel that the milk and the cream has been heated sufficiently. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm now going to just make a little bit of a slurry with my crushed BioGaia pills, and I'm going to mix it. So I'll start off with my milk. I just like to wipe it down just to prohibit any type of contamination. Do leave this in long enough. You'll feel that the milk is then at the 38 degrees that is required. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour just a little bit of milk into my container. There we go. And I'm now going to add the 10 crushed pulls. So literally, this is as easy as what it is. The previous version, I would have been adding 2 tablespoons of my actual yogurt. So here we go. Mix the crushed pulls into the milk. There we are. And now we're going to give it a nice stir. You'll see that it dissolves very nicely. So you can see here, after stirring a little bit, these pulls will dissolve. You will also smell the lemon lime flavor. Once again, don't worry about that. It goes away completely. Once we're happy that this process has been done properly, we're now going to add the rest of our milk. Also note, for you that are watching the video for the first time, I'm using the Parmalat full cream UHT milk, so ultra processed, and I now mix the pulls a little further into this. I've tried this recipe many different ways. I've even added milk powder. Milk powder also contains the fats required for the bacteria. Had good success. One of my followers actually suggested that I just use the milk on its own, and he's had good results. But I like the creaminess of the yogurt. Also UHT cream. Get this cream from Woolies. There you go, for your info. And then I'll start pouring this cream into my mix. Remember that it's also been heated up to 38 degrees. So you want to do this process a little quicker than what I've shown you now. You don't want it to cool down unnecessarily. Also, when you pour the milk into the mix, you don't use a mixer. Just do it by hand, gently. If you introduce oxygen into the milk, this Lactobacillus reuteri does not flourish in an oxygen-rich environment. I learned this from one of the other YouTube channels, and I will post a link below for you to just have a look at that. Right, so now my milk and my cream has been mixed, as well as my pulls, and I will now decant this mix into my jars. So as mentioned, this mix makes approximately 1.5 liters of yogurt. It'll be slightly less than that because we've only got 1 liter of milk and 250 mils of cream. But this is good for a start. And there we go. And you can see that there's no remnants of the pulls inside the mix. Good. I like to tighten the lids just so that the yogurt doesn't spoil, and then give it a small turn loose. And this mix will now go into my preheated Instapot. So the Instapot has been set at 38 degrees, and we will now start the fermentation process for 36 hours. So in my Instapot, when I'm making the half-liter containers, I fill up my Instapot to about 1.5, 1.2 liters of water. I preheat it. As you can see, it's heated. If you fill it more than that, then the water just rises above the lid, and that's not what you want. Okay, so there we go. All three jugs are in, and I'm going to cancel the preheating process of where I had my Instapot for the heating of the milk and so forth. I'm now going to select yogurt, and it's been preset for 36 hours at 38 degrees. Simply hit the start button and away we go. So we'll be back in 36 hours. In fact, I will check the mix at 24 hours to see how we're progressing. If it's nice and firm by 24 hours, I will actually remove it and put it in the fridge. We'll also be testing the pH of this yogurt with a little test strip, and I'll be back with you soon. Thanks. Hi guys, so we've got 10 hours left on the clock, and we're gonna have a quick look. What I'm expecting to see is some separation, and that is exactly what we are seeing here. So this is the typical first batch separation. Once it's at this level, I like to actually take the yogurt out and put it in the fridge, because this is the batch I'll use to make the next one. Nothing wrong with this batch. We would mix it up and eat it. So nothing wrong with it. The next batch that we make with this yogurt will come out much better, and you won't have separation. So let's just have a look at one of the others. Now this is quite interesting. You can see from the consistency here that there's a little bit of water on the top. So if you have a look inside there, it's actually beautiful. That's what you want to see. Yes, it smells nice as well. So let's just get a spoon, and then I can show you what it looks like. So let's just take a little scoop of this. Look at that, really nice consistency. Excellent. As far as the pH is concerned, if it's at 4.5, that is going to be ideal. So just dip the testing strip in there. So if we have a look at this, pH seems to be definitely around 4.5, which is what this yogurt wants. Just to give you an idea of what the consistency looks like, this is it. This is the next batch that has been done. Wonderful, tasty yogurt. I like to put honey or a sweetener in there, and it's really tasty. It's now 7 o'clock, so the yogurt has had some time in the fridge. And it's had some time to set. So let's have a look. So remember that although it's still warm in the fridge, it's still busy fermenting. And this is now the end product. Fantastic. Very good. The next batch will have less separation, so don't throw it away if you see some separation. I guarantee you the second batch will be of a great consistency. Thank you. See you again.